Bird and Lloyd in the backcourt. Clark, Howard, and Brianna Stewart in the front court for Seattle. It'll be Stewart to jump it up with Collier. And it is Seattle who wins the tip as Stewart taps it over to Howard, and Bird will orchestrate the offense for Seattle. Bird finds a wide open Stewart. She can't hit from three. Good look, though, on the opening possession.
And we did not see a lot of wide open looks for Brianna Stewart in game one.
Here is Duntus. Down low to Carlton, being guarded by Lloyd, and she hits the turnaround.
Yeah, Bridget Carlton was guarded by Sue Bird to start the game in game one, and for the majority of the game of game one, defensive adjustment for Gary Klapperberg here.
Lloyd unable to hit, something we did not see a lot of in game one when Lloyd barely missed. Here's Duntus from three, and a strong start for Minnesota.
Good decision by Crystal Dangerfield, not getting sped up too much, not trying to make the hard pass, making the correct one to Duntus.
Holly talked about Minnesota needing Duntus as Howard pedals her way in for two. And Duntus's game one was actually her worst shooting performance since August 7th. She was just 4 of 14 from the floor, so certainly a good sign for her to hit her first look from deep. Here is Collier, hooking it up and off. Good D there from Natasha Howard. Odyssey Sims tees it up, air ball. Carlton can't get it off in time before the fading shot clock, and Minnesota turns it over. And that, for Cheryl Reeve, is key number one. Not turning the ball over. It was the thing she was most pleased with from her group in game one that she felt really gave them a chance to win that game.
Yeah, they want to keep it under 14, only 10 in game one.
It's the first of two semifinal games tonight. Vegas and Connecticut up next as Bird buries the three.
Really nice patience offensively by Seattle. Once Duntus got switched on to Sue Bird, they worked the ball around until they could get it back to her.
5-5 game. Duntus again from deep. Damiris Duntus.
This looks like the Damiris Duntus we saw to start the game, the playoff game against Phoenix, where she came out on fire from the three-point line.
And before we get everyone saying it's Duntus, we have Holly Rowe, who gets the pronunciations directly from the player. So yes, it's Duntus.
We've got video proof.
That's right, we do. You like how I preempt Twitter now?
I do. Yeah. I like that.
Here's a deep catch from Collier. The spin, the fade, couldn't finish. Nice footwork, though, from Nafisa Collier. Here's Bird, finding a wide-open Howard for the finish.
Really nice job finding Natasha Howard this game, cutting to the basket. We did not see a lot of easy looks for Seattle in game one. But we did see when Seattle got inside, they missed a lot of layups in game one. They're not missing them here.
Bird at 6 assists in game one. Past Diana Taurasi, her second most in playoff history. Only Lindsay Whalen with 4 as Stewart draws the foul. And Brianna Stewart will shoot a pair. And I shorted Sue 2 assists. She got 8 in game one.
The double team comes from Duntus, and Sue Bird is going to recognize that right away. Help side not there. Easy 2 for Natasha Howard to finish. Howard is so good when she can catch the ball on the move.
You know, one of the things that Gary Kloppenberg talked to us about in regards to Natasha Howard was, you know, yes, her numbers may not be as gaudy this season as they were last year. And she did struggle out of the gates. Her first 10 games, she was averaging just 4.5 points. But since then, she has been the Natasha Howard of old. It's just, hey, she's playing with Sue Bird and Brianna Stewart again, so maybe those numbers aren't going to be as rounded out as they were a season ago.
It needed a little time to work back into shape because of the craziness of COVID this spring.
Collier again getting a look in the paint, and this time finishing. A 10-9 lead for Minnesota. Game 2 of this best of 5. Seattle a 1-0 lead as Stewart buries the 3, plus the foul underneath. And they'll check the timing of when the foul occurred versus when the 3 was actually released.
Yeah, it looks like maybe the foul happened right before she released released the shot.
And if the foul occurs before she starts that upward shooting motion,
viewing audience.
Yeah.
But it's a great sign for Seattle to see Brianna Stewart getting some open looks. She did not have many open looks in game 1. 15 of her 20 field goal attempts were contested in game 1.
Here's Lloyd working around the screen from Stewart, gets it back to her, and Stewart, I mean, that is not an easy shot.
No, that would go under the contested side of the ledger.
Collier being guarded by Stewart. Here's Sims. Sims with the left hand gets fouled. The southpaw shooter will shoot a pair.
Gary Kloppenberg said they wanted to get Stewie some more touches on the move, going outside to in. They were able to do that there. It's still a really good contest by Duntis to come over because she's on Howard, but has to come over and help. Good contest, but Stewart's long arms, high release point. Easy finish.
You know, Stewart has averaged just under 24 points in her playoff career. That is first among all players in WNBA history when it comes to those who played at least 10 playoff games. And Rebecca, you saw those numbers with contested field goals. That's what you were talking about earlier, just not getting a lot of clean looks in game 1.
And her field goal percentage reflected that.
12-11 Minnesota lead. About 4.5 minutes into this opening quarter. Clark trying to get position. Good D from Carlton. Clark wanted a foul. A lot of contact there.
That was great defense, though, by Carlton to bust up that baseline screen.
Sims contested by Stewart. Didn't have enough on it. Here comes Clark. Looked like she might have gotten away with a travel.
I was going to say, did she just walk?
Alicia Clark banking it in. The game 1 hero with her first bucket of the evening. Collier working hard against Howard, last year's Defensive Player of the Year. Collier again, just a beautiful footwork, just couldn't finish. Here's Bird, the flick ahead, and Clark the finish.
Seattle is so good running the floor off of a missed shot. They don't need a turnover. They can just get that board and go. Advancing the ball, not with dribbles, but with passes.
Dangerfield, a confident stroke from deep.
Yeah, she's looked good early. I think she's handled the double teams well. Here's another one of those times, Seattle advancing the ball with the pass.
And then Stewart shovels, Howard finishes. Both teams with a good rhythm in the early going.
But Dangerfield has handled the double teams well. She's done a nice job knowing when to pass and when to look for her own shot.
Stewart knocked it away. Bird on the steal. Dealt with a high dribble. Pizza pies it over to Stewart. Can't hit the 3. And Lloyd able to save it. Another chance for Seattle. Bird is short. And the rebound taken by Duntis.
Kind of what we saw, though, in game 1. Up and down. Both teams scoring at a relatively good clip.
Duntis from 3. Not that time. Lloyd the rebound. At some point, these players are going to need a blow. Jewel Lloyd will get each team that as she draws the foul and will shoot 2. A 17-15 lead early in game.
The name that they have been wearing all season long on the back of their jersey. They promised her mother that they would make sure people remember her name, that they will continue to say her name until justice is served. The WNBA players also wanted people to remember that the Attorney General position is an elected position, and if you don't like what the Attorney General has done in Kentucky, that you can go vote and make sure people are in office that reflect your values.
Well, Holly, the player whose idea it was to first get Breonna Taylor's name on the back of the WNBA jersey this season, Angel McCautry, will play in the second game of our doubleheader tonight. That'll be Connecticut and Las Vegas, game 3 of their best of 5 series, which is tied at a game apiece. As Banham comes in off the bench and hits the 3.
Yeah, Banham brings another player who can stretch the defense, hit from deep. Her confidence has been sky high for the last couple of weeks.
Here's Lloyd. Lloyd flips it in, and a whistle before as Seattle turns it over. And Jewel Lloyd is going to get called for the offensive foul.
Checking in for the score, number 33, Sammy Whitcomb, replacing Jewel.
Sammy Whitcomb will check into the game for Seattle. So Seattle now with Canada, Whitcomb, Howard, Stewart, and Clark on the floor. For Minnesota, it's Carlton, Collier, Duntis, Dangerfield, and Banham. And remember, as Holly reported off the top, no Sylvia fouls for Minnesota as she continues to deal with that nagging calf. Great D from Stewart. Read it the whole way. Fought for position. Here comes Clark. Her jumper is good. Alicia Clark now 3 of 3 from the floor.
Minnesota had success in game 1 with direct entry post passes into Napheesa Collier. We've seen Raina Stewart blow up 2 of those already here in the first quarter.
More good D here. Goes off the foot of Duntis. The deflection is going to keep it alive here for Minnesota. Duntis' 3 is good. And Minnesota has really used the 3 ball thus far in this series. They're 5 of 7 tonight. Big Sill loving it.
You see Big Sill on the sideline. I mean, that was their starting center until she got hurt. And she is a player who's going to get you 2s. And how about Duntis being able to get him 3s?
Howard can't hit. Tied at 21. Here comes Dangerfield. Dangerfield wiggling through traffic, weaving Stewart back to the perimeter. Collier gets hooked by Clark, and the foul will go against Alicia Clark. Let's take a look at the upcoming WNBA playoff schedule. Coming up next on ESPN2, it's Vegas and Connecticut, a pivotal Game 3 with that series tied at a game apiece. Then Sunday, we have an ESPN ABC doubleheader, Vegas and Connecticut Game 4, and then Seattle, Minnesota Game 3 over on ABC at 3 Eastern. For more on these games, go to WNBA.com or visit the WNBA app.
Storm, number 11, Tiffany Frakes replaces Clark.
Sue Bird getting a breather. It was interesting hearing Jewel Lloyd after the game the other day. And she was asked, were they concerned at all with the way Minnesota was shooting, the strong start they had? She said, if Sue's not rattled, we're not rattled. Stewart, and a foul is called. Collier there, so is Erica McCall. And the foul will go against Collier, and that is going to be her second. And clearly hit Stewart on the face.
On the other end, Napheesa Collier doing a really nice job faking Stewart and getting by her. She's doesn't do things super quickly, Napheesa Collier, but man, she just does such a good job with her footwork, her ball fakes. Big miss to not have her on the floor.
Yeah, out now with those 2 fouls. She has led the league in minutes each of the last 2 seasons. Did so as a rookie when she won Rookie of the Year, and did again this year. Here's Dangerfield. Dangerfield jitters into a jumper, can't finish. Canada claws it. Canada the flick ahead. Epiphany Prince getting some time here for Seattle. She did not see action in game 1. Stewart, what a pass to get it to Whitcomb for 3. Just an outstanding delivery from Breanna Stewart.
Going to her left side, making the pass with her left non-dominant hand.
Dangerfield can't push it in. Mercedes Russell secures it. Here comes Whitcomb. A 3-point Seattle lead. Can't hit that. Canada amongst 3 Lynx comes up with the rebound. And another chance here for Seattle. 25 seconds left in the quarter. Stewart, catch, fire, no. Loose ball, and it's going to be Minnesota who comes up with it, and Minnesota can hold for a final shot. Dangerfield around the screen from McCall. Lost it, 3 seconds left. Carlton going to have to put it up, does, and that is going to be short. The end of one quarter of play in game 2. Seattle a 1-0 series lead and a 3-point lead after one.
We got 3 more quarters to go. We're just going to play hard and see the outcome.
Nafisa Collier's such a big piece of what you do. How do you overcome her on the bench right now with 2 fouls?
We know she's in foul trouble. Just got to keep her mental, make sure she's mentally locked in and be ready to go when she comes back in. She gives us a lot. She has a lot of moves down low, can play inside and out. She's very versatile. So we definitely need her, but playing without her right now will be fine. Just got to continue to play hard, and when she gets back in, she'll be ready.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One of the things Collier's absence does is it makes Gary Kloppenberg a little bit more comfortable going to his bench. Magbagor in there. She only played 3 minutes in game 1.
Number 13.
It's been a balancing act for Gary Kloppenberg because of that depth. I mean, it is incredible just the amount of talent that Seattle has up and down the roster. They truly are 12 deep. Sims gives it up, gets it back, and a whistle away from the ball against Seattle. And Epiphany Prince gets hit with the personal.
And you see on the floor right now for Seattle, Epiphany Prince and Shanice Johnson on the court for Minnesota. Neither of these players played in game 1. Coaches understanding that this could be a 200-minute series playing every other day.
How about the finish inside from Erica McCall?
Erica McCall has brought some real bright spots in short stints for Minnesota.
The crossover, the jumper, no. As Prince called her own number. And here comes Minnesota. Down 1, game 2. Best of 5 semis. Seattle a 1-0 series lead. Sims got into trouble and traveled. That'll be the 4th turnover from Minnesota.
And credit Mercedes Russell. A great job to come over and be there on the spin of Odyssey Sims.
Cheryl Reeve has really been pleased with Odyssey Sims. Thought she saved them in their single elimination playoff win against Phoenix and has really trusted her, especially to guide the rookie Dangerfield through the playoffs and what's uncharted waters for the rookie. As Prince buries the 3.
Minnesota, just like in game 1, is switching every screen, and as Seattle has continued to move the ball around, that could sometimes put you in scramble mode because you get a little on a big there inside. That time, moving the ball gets Epiphany Prince the open look.
Prince, 37% from 3 in her career. Sims flicks it out. The 3 from the wing won't go for Johnson, and Seattle the rebound.
You could see when Shanice Johnson hesitated on the first, when she caught the ball, you hear Cheryl Reeve, shoot it!
And a foul here against Minnesota on the reach-in as Whitcomb got slapped by Herbert Harrigan.
Her first, team's first.
First foul on Herbert Harrigan and the first team foul against Minnesota in this second quarter. You heard Holly ask about it in the interview with Odyssey, but Minnesota going to try and navigate for now with Nafisa Collier on the bench after her 2 fouls. Whitcomb doesn't get the roll, but the soft bounce keeps it alive for Magbagor, who is fouled on the outstanding effort off the loose ball. Ezzy Magbagor winning the possession for Seattle.
That's how you can get yourself more minutes, right, Ryan? You get 3 minutes in game 1, here in game 2, play with a lot of energy, do little things like this. Beating the defender to the ball, getting another possession. You see Nafisa Collier back in the game now.
How much of a chance is this for Cheryl Reeve, putting Collier back in the game with those 2 fouls at this juncture?
Nafisa Collier is a terrific defender, and she is a really good defender staying in her position and not fouling. So it's a player you can trust even though she's only in her 2nd year.
Russell inside, whips it in, and are they going to call that on Collier? I think they are, and that would be number 3 on Nafisa Collier, and it is. Oh, that is a tough 3rd foul to stomach.
And that's one thing that Nafisa Collier, you know she does well. She stays vertical, hands straight up. To me, if anything, it looked like she was moving back. That was a really tough 3rd call.
Wow. And that is potentially a game changer for Minnesota. Mark it down, 32-25 with 7:22 to go in the second. We'll see how the Lynx are able to handle their star player on the bench. And now a foul against McCall. Check that against Mercedes Russell. Her first team foul. And the pace has slowed a little bit from the up and down we saw in the first quarter.
And not only what you're going to miss with Napheesa Collier being on the bench on the offensive end of the floor, but as I was saying, she's one of your best defenders. She's one of the best defenders in the league. And she did a phenomenal job on Breanna Stewart in game 1.
Can Dangerfield step up? Trying to bank it in, no. Loose ball, back to Minnesota. Carlton a heave and a hit. Bridget Carlton has been dynamite from deep this season. Just under 46% on the year.
4 for 7 from 3 in game 1.
And she is 1 for 1 so far tonight. Howard with Bird back in the game. Howard pushed it up too strong. Rebound taken by Minnesota. Dangerfield pivots, dishes. Carlton, not that time. Tracked beautifully and controlled by Minnesota. Sims dumps it down to Duntis. Duntis fading away, was able to get the whistle against Natasha Howard.
Bridget Carlton, we saw this in the first half of game 1. She is just steady and smart and able to hit the shots, and it's just a head fake. Shot blockers want to block shots every time down the floor. Natasha Howard is a shot blocker. Breanna Stewart's a shot blocker. We saw it earlier. If you give them a head fake, they'll leave their feet.
Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, you saw in that little rebound and flipped out to Bridget Carlton to get the 3. Crystal Dangerfield getting more settled and more comfortable. In that elimination game against Venus, she was shaking. Cheryl Reeve said she was so stressed out in the huddle. I've just told her, you've got to try stuff. You're not going to be perfect out there, but if you don't try stuff, we don't have a chance. And I like seeing that little toss to Carlton. That is trying stuff. I like that she's getting more and more comfortable in a series where it's not a one-and-done situation, and she's a little bit more comfortable easing her way into this game tonight.
And Cheryl Reeve was very interesting talking about this yesterday, Holly, saying, you know, you have to go through this in order for us to advance as a team. Crystal Dangerfield has to experience that. And look, she can have another one of those nights maybe in game 2, but we need her to find herself by game 3. As Duntis gets fouled, and what a nice job. Game 1 total. And at the line now, also, Rebecca, Minnesota trying to take advantage of Duntis with Collier out of the game right now with 3 fouls, and they've been able to thus far.
Yeah, often you see Minnesota playing through Collier on the block. Well, the last couple of possessions, we've seen them put Duntis on the block and play through her there. The last trip, she gets to the free throw line.
It's a 7-0 run for Minnesota since Collier picked up that 3rd foul. Tied at 32. Game 2 of this best-of-5 semis. Seattle a 1-0 lead. Bird's jumper rolls off. Rebound taken by McCall. Dangerfield gets fouled by Bird. And Minnesota is in the bonus. So Dangerfield is going to go to the line.
I think that look we saw on Subert's face was when she was realizing that, oh, they're in the bonus. And I just took that foul.
This is the YouTube TV Try It free throw. Watch WNBA games and 85 plus live channels when you try YouTube TV for free at tv.youtube.com. And as Rebecca pointed out, she doesn't have to make the free throw for you to try YouTube TV. You can just go try it.
I just like how they matched up that promo with a free throw.
Yeah.
How about if we do it at the free throw line? We'll call it the YouTube Try It.
That's right. You can try it for free, just like a free throw. Go for it. Lloyd's jumper is good. Jewel Lloyd has been so consistent this season, and that is the thing Gary Kloppenberg pointed out to us. He said, look, I mean, obviously she's always had incredible ability. We've seen big performances forever, but she would sometimes be streaky, and this year it's just been steady.
And he said she could let one poor performance affect her in the next game. She no longer does that.
McCall steps away, can't hit. Stewart the rebound, out there with Clark, Bird, Lloyd, and Howard, the starting five for Seattle. A 1-point Storm lead. Nice cut by Lloyd, and she gets fouled by McCall. Jewel Lloyd is going to shoot two.
Just so smart. Odyssey Sims is denying Jewel Lloyd. She understands one lean that way and then go back door. Look, gotcha. And then goes back door inside, forcing the big to come over and foul. Smart basketball.
Look at Lloyd's last two games. Just incredible numbers as she hits the first. And it was interesting just listening to her after game one. She talked about Kyrie Irving and Kobe Bryant, and both of them mentoring her on grit and teaching her that grit. As Jewel Lloyd hits both free throws, let's go to Holly.
Well, she's named the Golden Mamba. She was very close with Kobe Bryant, routinely texting with him. He would watch her game film and get back to her and critique her game. But the thing he did the most to mentor her, Jewel suffers from dyslexia, and she said he sent her his 500-page manuscript of his autobiography before it came out. And she said, Kobe, I can't really read this book. I'm dyslexic. And he said, you're going to do it. We're going to push you out of your comfort zone. That is the kind of mentor he was to her.
It's an amazing story, and it's just so cool, Holly, how hands-on Kobe was with so many of these women, but certainly a very special connection with Jewel Lloyd. A 5-point lead for Seattle, under 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. We'll step aside. Cheryl Reeve wants a timeout. She is very... Well, Jewel Lloyd, just the complete array of offensive moves.
Yeah, we saw her go back door, get to the free throw line. Here she's got the big switch down on her. Oof, that's a tough shot ride.
And how about this from back in 2015, DMing Kobe and saying, how do you get out of a shooting funk? Kobe answering, no such thing as a funk. There's just the next shot. Pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
It provides even further context to that outstanding story Holly was telling earlier. As we check back in with Holly.
Did you guys see the times on that direct message? She did that direct message at 5:11 a.m. I think that her shooting funk was really bothering her. I just love that she's up worrying about her shot at 5:11 a.m. and Kobe's words are just like, nope, just keep shooting. Look at that, 5:11 a.m. and he does eventually get back to her at 2:59 a.m. I think these shooters are up really thinking about their shots late at night.
Yeah, it appears so, Holly. That is a fantastic timestamp. Meanwhile, the Storm actually turned it over there. That foul was on Mercedes Russell. So for Seattle, just their third turnover of the game. Dangerfield jitters into the lane, leaves it short. Clark the rebound. 38-33, Seattle in front. Minnesota has shot it under 36% from the floor. Dangerfield now 1 of 6 rather, for 4 points. Lloyd, catch, fire, and hit from 3.
The last 2 shots from Jewel Lloyd have been contested well by the defense. Still able to drain them.
Jewel Lloyd now 9 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 of 3 from the floor. She has been incredibly efficient, 4 of 4 from the line. 8-point Seattle lead. And good job by Clark to get out and deflect it. Shot clock at 1. Douglas can't finish. Here comes Bird. Bird with 3 assists thus far in this game. 11 in the series. Back to Lloyd, 10 to shoot. Russell sets the screen. Lloyd, you bet. Jewel Lloyd is locked in the semifinals.
Jewel Lloyd was quiet in the first quarter because Seattle was looking elsewhere for their offense, but you have to know at any point she or a variety of other players can come alive, and it's happened here in the second quarter. Defenders right on her. Doesn't matter whether it's from 3 or 2, whether it's a little or a big, the result is the same.
Loose. Back, front. Communicate, just communicate, guys. All right, just keep battling, guys. Keep battling. Keep helping each other on D, okay? Space the drivers. Know where the three-point shooters. Get ahead. Let's get out to them. Let's get closer to the three-point shooters on a closeout, guys.
One thing we know about Gary Kloppenberg is his focus is very much on the defensive end of the floor. The entire time we heard him there, he was talking to them about defense and telling them to communicate. It is so important on defense. Good defensive teams are talking constantly to one another.
Good hands by Stewart, very active defensively all game.
And much like in game 1, Minnesota's done a really nice job of staying away from the side of the floor, because that's where Seattle can jump out at you and try to keep you there and double team you. Minnesota, through the sets that they've run and what they've done when they've gotten those double in terms of their pressure release points, have done a great job of limiting that.
Look at the D from Clark, unable to save it, but outstanding activity from Alicia Clark.
Any surprise?
No surprise.
I mean, it doesn't matter who she's defending. Right now, she's on Crystal Dangerfield. Going to come in and help on the 5-player. Alicia Clark is constantly active, constantly talking, helping her team at the defensive end of the floor.
And many thought she was going to be named Defensive Player of the Year today. And Bantam gets denied by Stewart. Instead, it was Candace Parker who was named Defensive Player of the Year. Alicia Clark, Alyssa Thomas, Candace Parker were thought to be top 3 candidates.
I believe Alicia Clark was second in voting, right?
I believe so, yes. Bird lobs it a little too far for Stewart, and it's out of bounds to Minnesota.
Brianna Stewart is so long and can cover a lot of ground. It looked like Rachel Bantam was going to have an open look. 7'1" wingspan, and Brianna Stewart says differently.
An 11-point Seattle lead. Carlton tees it up, can't hit. Clark the weak side board. 1 minute and 5 seconds to go in this opening half of game 2.
That was one of those instances where Minnesota really handled the trapping action well. Got a pretty open look out of it.
Lloyd, 12 points to lead all Seattle scorers. Lloyd, step back jumper is good.
Seattle doing a great job of exploiting that switch, having Duntus's player come out and set the screen on Lloyd. That's the 3rd time we've seen Lloyd score on her.
Lloyd was 8 of 9 in game 1. She's 4 of 5 tonight. A 14-0 Seattle run and a 13-point Seattle lead. 2-for-1 opportunity if the Storm hurry. Looks like they will settle into the possession instead with a 12-second difference, game and shot clock. Lloyd doubled, and good D there from Dangerfield and Duntus. Stay tuned for the WNBA Halftime Report presented by State Farm. Washington Mystics' Natasha Cloud will be our special guest with LaChina Robinson. Be a powerful studio duo and a preview of Game 3 Aces Sun tonight. That's all to come. State Farm Halftime. Shot clock turned off. Sims around Duntus. Can't put it in. Rebound Bird. Her half-court heave, and that'll do it for the first half of action. Seattle ends the second quarter on a 14-0 run with Jewel Lloyd all over it. It was Damaris Duntus who had a big first half for Minnesota.
The second quarter was hers. She was 4 for 4 from the floor.
You take a look at the halftime stats, and the paint points a clear advantage, and overall field goal percentage just really swaying in Seattle's favor. For more, let's go inside the one with Holly Rowe.
Well, the most important thing here in the second half for Minnesota is for Nafisa Collier to stay on the floor. Just 9 minutes in that first half in foul trouble. And that's because she draws so much attention. You see the double team there down low. Just 4 points for her. She has got to come alive. She is the heart and soul of this Lynx team, and they need her out on the floor.
No question about it, Holly. And they survived initially with her on the bench, but not at the end of the half. We mentioned it before as Sims hits the jumper, but Collier has played more minutes over the last 2 seasons than any player in the WNBA. So Minnesota is not used to navigating long periods with her on the bench.
Yeah, she's steady. She's steady on both ends of the floor for Minnesota.
Stewart squeezes it in, plus the foul.
Again, you see Bridget Carlton get switched on to Brianna Stewart, and when she gets the ball inside, long arm, great pass by Howard to get it over the arms of Carlton. Even though the help is there, it's just not in time. Brianna Stewart looked a bit sped up in game 1, and here in game 2, that's not the case at all. She looks like she is playing the exact pace she wants to play.
11 points, 5 of 5 from the line now. A 14-point Seattle lead. Dangerfield can't hit, has not been able to find her shot yet tonight. 1 of 7 now from the floor. Howard on the drive, the kick. How about Bird? Alone from 3, no. Howard the offensive rebound and the putback high off the window.
I didn't think that had any chance of going in. That was a great offensive board. I thought she was going to pass it back out a little bit off balance, but somehow Howard got it to drop.
And that's how Howard gets a lot of her offense, right? I mean, there aren't plays necessarily run for Howard, who comes up with the acrobatic steal and save. Bird, eyes up, looking for help. Clark alone is deadly, can't can it. And a hard foul on the rebound as Howard came flying in. But how about these efforts from Natasha Howard?
Howard is effective because of her activity level. Here, she just has 3 bodies around her, still able to get the offensive board, and activity level at the defensive end. Poke away, and then just great hustle going to get the ball.
That's a tough angle to bowl at, too, you know. Somehow, she didn't need a bumper. She kept it right down the lane as Dantas lays it in. Ramirez Dantas with 15 points now. Stewart turning the corner. Bird's pull-up is smooth. Sue Bird's second field goal of the night.
She just needs a smidge of room, just a little tiny bit of room, and she gets it going off of Stewart's rub screen.
Game 1 for both Brianna Stewart and Sue Bird was their first game in 2 weeks. And so there was some rust that needed to be knocked off. And for Seattle, it was their first game in 10 days. And that was also a factor probably in just knocking off some of the rust for what is usually a fluid machine. Sims will shoot 2. Yeah, Sue Bird will get a little chug of water. Why not? Yeah, there's time for that. Go for it. Coming up, 9:30 Eastern, MVP A'ja Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces square off against the Connecticut Sun. Game 3 of their playoff series. Series tied at 1 apiece. You can always watch it streaming live on the ESPN app from anywhere. How about A'ja Wilson down the stretch for Vegas the other night in a tight game against Connecticut?
The last minute and 3 seconds, she just decided, we're going to win this basketball game, and she put her team on her shoulders and did that.
14-point Seattle cushion. Good deep from Collier on Stewart. 8 to shoot. Stewart gives it up. Howard lines it up and knocks it down from 3. Natasha Howard now with 11 points. She's in double figures. The 3rd member of the Storm to do so. Sims doesn't have the angle, but gets the whistle against Stewart, and Odyssey Sims will go back to the line.
How about Natasha Howard finding her 3-point shot in the playoffs? She only made 7 of them in the regular season. The added weapon when your center can step out and hit that to complement all the other players on the Seattle roster who are capable from three.
Yeah, that three that she hit, her first of tonight, but she had 2 in game 1, which was her first game this season with multiple threes. And that was certainly a part of the repertoire we saw more often a season ago. The Seattle team just loaded with weapons. Odyssey Sims now 6 of 6 from the line. A 15-point Seattle lead. Bird around the screen from Howard. Stewart alone. Can't hit. Carlton, nice job finger-tipping the rebound.
Brandon Stewart has hit her contested shots and missed the 3 relatively open threes that she's had.
4 on 2. Clark from 3 connects. Alicia Clark led the league in three-point shooting a season ago. Second this year to Simone Augustus. And Minnesota needs a timeout.
Minnesota with another turnover. We know those have been what's hurt them against Seattle this season. Transition 3. Good from Clark.
Eastern, Dewana Bonner, and the Connecticut Sun going up against Asia Wilson, the MVP in Vegas. Game 3 of their semifinal series, tied at a game apiece. You can always watch it streaming live on the ESPN app from anywhere. Alyssa Thomas is still questionable to play. She had been marked as out after a shoulder injury the other day, but following an MRI that didn't show any further damage, she was upgraded to questionable. We'll see if she is able to give it a go. One of the toughest players in the WNBA.
Completely changes the look of the Connecticut Sun when she's on the floor. That last possession was great defense by Seattle. Minnesota tried to get Nafisa Collier the basketball inside, but the ball pressure on the guards prevented it.
Bird can't hit, Sims the rebound. Sims throws it out of bounds. Alyssa Thomas getting ready in the hallway. Running. Sprinting. Yeah, she looks good there.
She's using that left arm a lot.
Yeah. No compensator. She's cutting through the wind.
Exactly.
Bird the cut, the dish. Lloyd connects from 3. Biggest lead of the game for Seattle is 21 as we check in with Holly.
Well, you saw her running in the hallway. You see that the locker rooms here are just kind of walls. There are no ceilings. And when she got injured in that game, she went back into the locker room, and we believe her shoulder had been dislocated. And as it was put back into place, other players from other teams who were in their locker room said they could hear her screaming. That Alyssa Thomas is out here looking spry, looking like she may play in this game is nothing short of miraculous. This is the toughest woman I think any of us know. And if she plays tonight, I don't think we'll be surprised because we know that's the kind of warrior she is.
Yeah, I mean, it would just be incredible, and yet it still would not be surprising given her track record. You're 100% right, Holly. Glad I was not in that adjacent locker room as that was happening.
Yeah.
That is going to be a jump ball. Let's take a look at the injury to Alyssa Thomas from the other night. Now, this is one of the great playoff performers we have seen in this league. You see her go down there, grabbing the shoulder. And first 3 games, she was just incredible.
But her value to the Connecticut Sun goes way beyond the numbers. You know, her ability to get defensive boards and push the pace and transition the other way. The toughness she brings, particularly on the defensive end of the floor. Like I said, it just completely changes their team when she's on the court and when she's not. And how about Damaris Duntis getting another look? They're going to need some more scoring from her here in the third.
4 of 6 from 3 now. 18 points for Duntis. Stewart with 11. Bird tees it up. Can't hit. The rebound taken by Sims. Bird now 1 of 5 from downtown tonight. Sims waits, floats, hits.
She's really good at that. She kind of bounces around, changes speed, keeps the defender on her toes. Not sure if she's going to burst by or pull up for the shot.
5 straight points for Minnesota. Stewart's pass deflected to Lloyd, who can hit the 3. Collier the rebound. A chance here for Minnesota. Dangerfield to the corner. Good look for Carlton. She hits from downtown. And it's an 8-0 Minnesota run. Timeout Seattle.
The one thing you know, when you have a team that can shoot threes like the Minnesota Lynx, they're not out of it. A couple more of these, it'll be a single-digit game.
Games are very important as far as, you know, getting ahead and making sure we get to the next round and don't have a lot of games.
It was interesting talking to Cheryl Reeve because she was saying, you know, we don't have a lot of experience. We don't have a lot of players who've been through a series before. That's not the case for the Seattle Storm. They've been through many.
Clark, what a play. Howard Clark to give the go, the get. And it ends an 8-0 Minnesota run. And a foul called against Lloyd.
24.
As Sims is slowly helped to her feet. And that'll put Minnesota in the bonus. Seattle over the limit, so free throws for Odyssey Sims.
Heads to the line where she will shoot 2.
Holly?
Well, Odyssey Sims, such a remarkable story. She joined Minnesota late this season because she was recovering after childbirth. She had her son Jaden about 5 months ago now, and Cheryl Reeve hadn't planned on her playing this season, but Odyssey said, you know, I'm feeling well. So after 8 weeks, she was able to start working out, get back, and she has joined Minnesota here in the bubble. And for women everywhere, anyone who's had a baby, this is the most remarkable thing I think I've ever seen, that she's back playing at this level just 5 months. She was playing 4 months after she gave birth.
It's ridiculous.
Incredible. I mean, as the mother of 4.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. And we've seen just even how her body has changed from the time she got to the bubble to now.
Oh, look at that cutie.
I mean, that's adorable.
That is adorable. What a photo.
We saw this from Minnesota in game 1. They played a couple possessions of zone. They were in a zone defense right there as well.
13-point game, Seattle in front. Odyssey Sims again with the floater, again with the make, and Minnesota a little momentum here at the end of the third. Trying to get it down to single digits. Canada and Russell into the game off the bench for Seattle. Collier was limited in the first half with 3 fouls. Maybe her aggression's been a little limited in this third quarter with those 3 fouls as well, Rebecca?
That's the thing, is you still have that in your brain in the third quarter. You have 3, you're still playing a little bit conservatively, especially on the defensive end of the floor. If you get to the fourth quarter with only having 3, it's like a clean slate to be as aggressive as you want to be.
Now that foul goes against Duntas, her second. Stewart, 5 of 5 from the line. Seattle, 10 of 10 as a team. No announcer jinxed that time. The election is right around the corner, and registration deadlines are coming soon. Make sure you, your family, and friends have a plan to vote by visiting whenweallvote.org today.
Ryan, interesting to know, in game 1, Seattle had a 9-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Brianna Stewart was on the bench, Sue Bird was on the bench, and Minnesota able to make their run in that stretch here. Stewart's on the floor, even though Sue is on the bench. I would imagine Gary Kloppenberg is want to have one of them on the floor at all times. Nice take the piece of Collier.
Yeah, Collier getting that to Plantone. 6 points for Collier, third field goal of the game. After she had a monster game 1. Whitcomb can't hit from 3, and a chance to cut it to single digits now for Minnesota. Dangerfield working around Collier. In the corner, Duntas a 3 is good, and it is suddenly an 8-point game.
Another example of Crystal Dangerfield making the right read when the trap came.
66-58, Seattle in front. Stewart can't answer. Duntus flags it down. Another chance for Minnesota. Down 21 earlier in the quarter. They've shaved 13 off that deficit. They've shaved 16 off that deficit. Nafisa Collier connects. One minute to go in the third. 5-point Seattle lead, an 8-0 run in the last minute. Stewart travels, and Seattle turns it over.
Great pass by Crystal Dangerfield to get it to Duntus in the corner, continuing to hit even with a hand in her face. Another pass by Dangerfield over the top. Collier getting into the action as well.
66-61, Seattle in front, 46 seconds to go in the third quarter of Game 2 of this best-of-5 semifinal. Seattle a 1-0 lead. Collier got fouled by Russell. Seattle's over the limit, so Nafisa Collier will shoot a pair. And Rebecca, the last few possessions, she has been noticeably more aggressive.
Yeah, and you can be, because you know that you're in a good place in terms of your foul situation. And great job attacking Mercedes Russell. Nafisa Collier likes to put the ball on the floor with her left hand.
You see Collier's 5 points. They've come in the last 80 seconds of this quarter, as Collier misses the first free throw. This was a 62-41 game. Sue Bird has been on the bench watching this run from Minnesota. A couple of missed opportunities there from Collier, as she can't hit either free throw. Got a 14-second difference, game and shot clock. Russell backs into Banham, draws 2, 6 to shoot. Canada contested look is good. Difficult shot from Jordan Canada. And now Minnesota can hold 4-1. Dangerfield on the drive, can't flip it in, but does get the whistle. And Crystal Dangerfield, the Rookie of the Year, is going to shoot a pair.
You can't say enough about the aggressiveness of the Minnesota Lynx the last few possessions, getting to the free throw line by putting the ball on the floor. Crystal Dangerfield liked that switch.
An extended 20-4 run from Minnesota. But 3 straight missed free throws for the Lynx, and yeah, that's going to make Cheryl Reeve have to look away, as Gary Kloppenberg sees a more pleasant result from his perspective. But when you're trying to come back against a team like Seattle, tough to miss these kind of free throws. Dangerfield gets that one to spin in. Clark will get it off, and that'll do it for the third. Seattle builds a lead as large as 21. Minnesota has cut it to 6 going.
Welcome back here with Seattle's Sue Bird. And Sue, game 1 went down right to the last seconds, and now game 2, you guys had a big lead and it's dwindled away. What has to change for your team?
I mean, it's the playoffs, you know, and as we all know, basketball's a game of runs. It's no surprise. This is a team that never quits. Minnesota is, so we'll just have to see what happens.
They've had a couple of 8-0 runs. How can you be more efficient defensively?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times you see three-point shooters hitting shots. It starts way before that. So we just got to lock in on things like our pick-and-roll defense, keeping them out of the lane, and then hopefully cut down on those threes.
Thank you so much.
I thought Seattle's defense was really on point, especially in the first half. In the third quarter, Minnesota was able to get a lot more out of their offensive sets.
Jewel Lloyd hits another 3. How huge has Jewel Lloyd been in these semifinals?
It worked in the first half. Go back to it. Setting the screen with Dantas' player and then letting Jewel Lloyd go to work.
Minnesota ended the third quarter on a 21-6 spurt. Dantas gets deep position and spins it in around Stewart. Damaris Dantas now with 23 points.
She's done it from 3. She's done it on the block. She's gotten to the free throw line.
Had her contract extended by Minnesota during this season, meant so much to her, and Russell lays it in on the delivery from Stewart. Minnesota Lynx, 7 of their 15 wins this season came after facing a double-digit deficit that led the WNBA. Collier's jumper rolls off.
Cheryl Reeve told us our mission is with 5 minutes to go to be in the game, and then let the players make plays.
And she was very happy with the way her team executed down the stretch of game 1 as Stewart can't hit from 3, rebound taken by Carlton. Stewart now 0 of 5 from deep, 3 of 9 from the floor, does have 6 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals, and 5 boards. To go with 13 points thanks to 7 of 7 from the line. Sims lost it. Duntis scrapes it up, 4 to shoot. Duntis finding an angle, can't put it in. And Stewart the rebound. Stewart running the floor, what a luxury. And she gets bumped by Sims. That'll be the second personal on Odyssey Sims. The one player who is in foul trouble, Natasha Howard, 5 fouls on the bench right now for Seattle. Everybody else in this game with 3 or fewer. Whitcomb connects on a 3, and what a good decision from Stewart to get it right back to Whitcomb. And a timeout taken by Minnesota. Seattle, a strong start to the 4th. The lead is back to 12.
Sammy Whitcomb, one of those shooters. It doesn't matter if they haven't gone in so far this game. We see you, Sammy.
The WNBA Playoffs 2020 is presented by AT&T 5G and in part
bench Sammy Whitcomb for 3. This is a Seattle team clearly that has stars, but a lot of players that can produce right now. 4 players in double-figure scoring.
And a 12-point Seattle lead as Whitcomb comes up with a steal, pedals ahead and lays it in. Big plays in this game from Sammy Whitcomb. Lead is back to 14. Duntis keeps it alive for Collier, who bangs in a 3.
Zafisa Collier, after turning the ball over on the last possession, wanted to come back with something strong. That time, 6'6" Mercedes Russell right on her.
Collier, the Rookie of the Year a season ago. Dangerfield, the Rookie of the Year this year, both on Minnesota. Good D here from Sims. Comes up with a steal and lays it in. Just like that, 5 straight from Minnesota.
Credit to the help from Zafisa Collier on the pick.
Canada gets it to Lloyd, double team. Whitcomb around the Russell screen. Lloyd looks off the pass, takes the drive, gets denied. Banham on the rejection. The flick ahead. Sims can't float it in. Maybe could have gotten a little more under control first.
So I was thinking, when is Sue Bird going to come back in the game? Well, she's at the scorer's table now.
Through 3 quarters at a team best plus-minus, plus 13 for 2. Stewart left all alone. She says, why not? Can't hit, but follows it up and puts it in.
That's just energy and effort.
15 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists for Breanna Stewart. Duntis kicks it out. Collier, not that time. Russell able to grab the rebound.
Russell's given them really nice minutes with Howard on the bench and foul trouble.
And you think about that from 2 years ago, where she didn't necessarily get those opportunities off the bench.
She was a starter last year. Those minutes invaluable.
Lloyd trying to turn the corner. Great D from Collier. Canada alone. Can't hit the 3. Rebound left for Carlton. Banham able to get to it. Here's Collier with some space against her former college teammate Stewart. 5 to shoot. The runner won't go for Sin. Whitcomb the rebound. Here is Whitcomb. Weaving around Russell. Stewart now.
involve Jewel Lloyd in a pick and roll, unless you can get a wide open layup.
Great eyes from Whitcomb, and the finish from Russell. Minnesota has hung around, but Seattle has had the answer every time Minnesota has crept a little closer. And now Whitcomb another steal, and she's fouled by Banham. How about the impact in this fourth from Sammy Whitcomb?
They've had players, Seattle has, come in off the bench and just do a stellar job, including Mercedes Russell. Great vision and ability to find the big wide open inside.
Whitcomb will check out. 8 points, 3 assists for Sammy Whitcomb in her 13 minutes. Also has 2 steals. Sue Bird back in for Seattle. So is Natasha Howard playing with 5 fouls. Stewart gets a breather. So just as you thought, partner, either Bird or Stewart remaining on the floor in the second half. And a foul here against Minnesota.
Foul number 1, Darcy Sims.
You've seen the impact of a player like Stewart in a game like tonight where, yeah, she hasn't shot it well, just 4 of 12 from the floor, 0 of 6 from 3, but 15 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals, and a bucket right off the inbound as Bird finds Clark, and Seattle's lead is now 15, a timeout taken by Minnesota with 4:27 to go. Well, game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals between...
Boy, the benches have been productive here in the fourth.
15-point edge for Seattle. They have a 1-0 series lead in this best-of-5 semifinal. Vegas and Connecticut up next as Dangerfield finally gets a 3 to drop.
And Sue Bird was out there to contest it as well. Nice little handoff from Collier to Dangerfield for the 3.
In this new format, no team has ever come back from being down 2-0 in a best-of-5. Good hands from Howard kept it alive, but eventually Minnesota wins it. 12-point game. Still time left. Good position inside. Collier couldn't finish, though. Excellent recovery from Howard.
This is a lineup for Minnesota. All 5 players very capable of making threes.
Bird pushes, dishes, but travels, and it'll be turnover number 10 for Seattle. Their team has turned it over often, and for Minnesota, their goal is to stay below 14 turnovers. They are at 9 thus far in this game.
The problem, though, for Minnesota is Seattle has 18 points off of those 9 turnovers. They've done a much better job converting those turnovers into buckets.
They're a plus 12 in that category. 3:15 to go in the fourth. A little late, but got it to Sims. And hits a 3. Stewart another rebound, her 8th. Sims with 16 points in this game. Dundas with 23. Collier 12. Jewel Lloyd, 20 points to lead Seattle. She's doubled. Throws it away. Banham zings it down floor, and Sims lays it in. It's a 10-point game.
What a great aggressive trap by the Minnesota Lynx to force that turnover.
Bird's defender falls. Now she's switched on Banham. Stewart working on Collier, and Collier is called for the foul. As Stewart will shoot 2. That's the first foul of the second half for Collier. But Collier, former teammate at UConn, the one player who has shown to do that thus far in these playoffs, as Stewart hits the first free throw. 8 of 8 from the line so far tonight. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, I was teasing Breanna Stewart yesterday about the blocks that Nafisa got on her. I was like, hey, we didn't talk about that. And she gave me a look that was like, I don't want to talk about it. She said, that should never happen. I opened up too soon. She was definitely going to try to correct that tonight. But Nafisa said, hey, that's just good scouting. That's knowing your personnel and knowing how to get those blocks. But Breanna Stewart was not amused when I ripped her about that a little bit.
As only Holly Rowe could bring up. Minnesota with a big 3 there. It's a 9-point game, 2 minutes to go. Stewart pops out, and it's a 3. And the rebound will tilt out of bounds. An opportunity here for Minnesota. Down single digits with 1:52 to go in the fourth.
Breanna Stewart now 0 for 7, Ryan, from 3.
These teams combined to match the WNBA playoff record for most made threes in a game in game 1. That was 27. They've combined for 23 thus far tonight.
It's on Jewel Lloyd.
As Jewel Lloyd gets hit with the personal.
It's her fourth.
Her fourth.
And the first.
First in the final 2 minutes against Seattle.
Again, all 5 players on the floor for Minnesota. Good 3-point shooters.
Dangerfield, shaded by Clark. Duntis was open, forced the pass in, and again Stewart with a key deflection.
That's how she started the game, and getting another one here late.
Under 90 seconds to go in game 2. And a whistle against Seattle. I believe it's going to be Sue Bird who's hit with the offensive foul.
Breanna Stewart using her length to get around and get the steal on the attempt of the entry pass inside.
And then the offensive foul on the other end against Sue Bird. 9-point game. Minnesota needs something here. 1:18 to go in the fourth quarter of game 2. Seattle a 1-0 series lead. Collier left alone. Can't hit the 3. Golden opportunity there for Minnesota.
Really well-run play to take advantage of what Seattle's doing defensively. Get the wide open look, but can't hit it.
And Sue Bird will take a timeout after slipping.
59.1 remaining in regulation.
And Seattle will huddle up with 59.1 seconds remaining in game 2. A reminder, Las Vegas and Connecticut game 3 covered. And there's going to be a jump ball between Clark and Duntis. But if you're Minnesota, you can't ask for better looks than the ones Collier's had.
She has a wide open look. Seattle initially did a really nice job defending the play. The baseline drive with the hammer screen on the left side, they defended that well, but then Collier got open.
Collier was 4 of 5 from 3 in game 1, had been 2 of 3 in game 2 before these 2 misses. Minnesota wins the possession. Dangerfield taking a lot of time here. Minnesota needs to go. Dangerfield can't connect. And that will probably do it. See if Minnesota fouls or backs off. A 9-point Seattle lead, 20 seconds to go. Bird is fouled. And will go to the line to shoot 2. But Seattle is going to take a 2-0 series lead. Another gritty effort from Minnesota. That big run at the end of the second quarter felt like it was the difference in this game.
Yeah, without question. And Minnesota did a great job coming back into this game, cutting it into single digits. A lot for them to work with in terms of going back, watching film, figuring out the things that worked well and those that didn't.
Bird hits both free throws. Seattle 16 of 16 from the line as a team. And if you want to go back to one moment, perhaps where Minnesota significant time, but the result is not in doubt any longer. Banham will take a 3, can't hit. Rebound Seattle, foul given by Dangerfield. No need to do that at this point with it being cosmetic. But free throws coming for Canada, and Alyssa Thomas certainly looks like a player who may try and give it a go in game 3. She already has torn labrums in each of her shoulders, suffered a shoulder injury in game 2 against Las Vegas, which was not officially termed, but colloquially termed a dislocated shoulder by her head coach.
Colloquially?
Yeah, you know, like just in conversation. 8 seconds left. Dangerfield will flip in the jumper. And Clark will dribble it out. The Seattle Storm are 1 win away from heading to the WNBA Finals. They take Game 2 of this best-of-5 semifinal series, 89-79 over Minnesota.